Also gonna back it up. Glad you guys can join me today for this gentle flow. We're going to be, hopefully you guys at home can hear this okay. If not, you know the song. We're going to start off with the song today. And the song is part of our inspiration for our practice. It also ties in a little bit with the full moon that we just had yesterday. So I'll go ahead and tell you the full moon yesterday was in Gemini. Gemini is ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury is all about communication. So the idea behind this full moon, there's a lot behind it actually, because there's a lot happening planetarily. There's like 4 planets aligned right now. I don't know if you saw it in the evening sky. You could visibly see them kind of lined up. And I have one of those apps where I can tell like, what's the name of that star or planet? It was like Jupiter, Venus, Neptune, and another one. Anyway, it was pretty cool. But this particular full moon energy was asking us to really examine our mind and examine our thoughts, as well as examining our hearts and examining our feelings that are coming up. So the full moon is about a culmination, or it's about illumination. So the idea is to illuminate your awareness through that examination of your thoughts and your feelings. It's really easy at this point in time to slip into fear versus maintaining that status of love and light. It's really easy to slip into some fury and some rage and some deep questioning, but try to stay as balanced and as hopeful and as positive as you can, because everything that happens at the micro level is going to affect the macro level and vice versa, just like the full moon can affect us internally. We can also equally have an effect on the collective. So the song that I want us to listen to is by John Lennon. So last week, Rob and I decided to watch a documentary based on John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And it was concerning his first kind of debut album after the Beatles had broken up, because we had just watched Let It Be. And then we kind of just naturally moved into this one. And it was a really good documentary. If you like John Lennon, I would suggest watching that documentary. It shows him being in his home and how they created the studio in his home, and him coming up with these songs for that first debut album. And the songs were very relevant to that time, and you could tell he was heavily influenced by his relationship with Yoko Ono. So the next morning, after we watched it, my son gets in the car, we're taking him to school, and I'm like, we have to listen to I'm Just a Jealous Guy. I've heard that song a million times, just like you have, but through the documentary, I heard it in a fresh new way, because they stripped all of the music away and just had him in a microphone singing with his heart, singing from a place of vulnerability. And vulnerability can be a strong suit. So I want to remind us of that too. Being strong means you can also be soft and vulnerable. There's strength in that. And with all the music stripped away, he's singing his heart out into this microphone. He's talking about, you know, I'm sorry if I made you cry. I'm just a jealous guy. You could tell he had gotten jealous about something that Yoko Ono had done or spoken with or whatever. And they probably had this big blow up, and he's just like oozing this, please forgive me, I love you so dearly. And like, it made me tear up, because I know we've all been in relationships and we've all probably had a moment or more like that. But it was just like, oh, it was so touching. You could feel the depth of his love for this woman. And I told Gabriel about it the next day, and he was like, I don't want to watch that documentary. Yoko Ono broke up the Beatles. I'm like, no, she didn't. It's just a fable. That's just what people say. Because if you go back to look at Let It Be, you can see how they were just ready to do their own thing. It was time for them to get creative and go their own way. It had nothing to do with her, even though she was there and around. But anyway, we're going to listen to the song Imagine. That's what I want us to listen to. So we're going to be listening to that song in the very beginning, and I'm going to put you in one of two positions. You can either be in, say some sort of child's pose, if that's not great for your knees, because it is like a song, right? 2 or 3 minutes in length. You can place your arms together, provide a headrest, and have your legs straight. So pick one of those poses, please, to start off in. And once you find that position that you wish to take, go ahead and begin to incorporate some yogic breath work. Breathing in and out in a diaphragmatic way. Opening up that channel of breath. And maybe noticing for your observation if your in-breath or out-breath is more dominant. And then try to make it more equal measure, where the emphasis is on both. The inhale's bringing in a sense of newness, some fresh energy, an invitation to go within. The exhalations being an outlet. An exit point for any stale or stagnant or stuck energy. Or just allowing you to center and be more present in the now. I want you in this moment to imagine for yourself what it would look like if the world did come together as one. If there was one type of brotherhood. If we could all collectively join forces and promote peace over war. Abundance for all over greed. Everything is composed of energy, even our thoughts. Thoughts hold power. When interviewed about the song, they were both saying this is all about concept art, relaying a message through artistic means. But it also goes back to a universal law, the law of attraction, and how we need to visualize in order to materialize. All manifestations, all creation begins with thought first. And this is why it's important to examine our minds, to examine our thoughts, to examine our hearts, and to examine our feelings. How are we contributing to the whole? So if you're in that crocodile pose with your legs sprawled out behind you, bring your hands up underneath your shoulders and push up to tabletop. If you're in child's pose, extend the arms in front of you and rock forward to tabletop position. We'll start here with the hands grounded below the shoulders and the knees grounded below the hips. We're going to start with some cat-cows. So as you inhale, you're going to tilt the sits bones to face up. You're going to seal the navel downward, and you're going to push through your palms to elevate the heart and the chin. On the exhalation, you start descending the tailbone, scooping in through the belly, hiding the heart away, and pushing the shoulder blades towards the sky. Inhale, creating that maneuver, starting with the low back, working up into the neck. And then exhale, rounding it out. Do 2 more of these. Just noticing where you may feel more stiff in your back. Noticing if or when the breath becomes inhibited. And then slowly after that cat stretch, you're going to sit back in a cross-legged position. And if that's not good for one or both legs, you can extend them out. Hands are going to come to Anjali Mudra prayer position. And as you inhale, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. And as you exhale, you're going to spin to your right. Left hand crosses over to the right knee. And the right hand's going to spill to the floor behind your back. It's okay to pull slightly with the right knee. It's okay to roll the right shoulder back more. And it's also okay to discover where you need to pause that twist in your neck. Please don't feel like you have to crank it all the way around. Channel the breath up and down the spine. So that song was written and released in 1971, and it's 2021, so that means it's 50 years old. And even though times were different then, that song is still relevant today, and it was voted to be the song of the century. On your next in-breath, let's release the hands and let's reach them up overhead, which will help to elongate the vertebrae. And then as you exhale, take the twist to your left. Right hand crosses over to the left knee. Right hand drops to the floor behind you. And we do have different arm lengths according to our trunks. So you may prefer being on a flat palm. You may prefer being on your fingertips. I have to be on the fingertips to feel like I'm truly getting the length. Open up the breath. Purify your lungs. And continue that self-examination, especially regarding your mind and your heart. And then plug this affirmation in as a positive seed of thought, but also to radiate this outward into the world. Say internally to yourself, I radiate my love, goodwill, and compassion to soul friends everywhere. Inhale, fly the arms up, rotate back to center. Exhale, bring hands together. All right, we're going to shift forward again to a tabletop position. And this time when we're here in a tabletop position, we're actually going to curl the toes under. As we curl the toes under, we're going to inhale, create the cow tilt, the saddle in the back. But as we exhale, we're going to hollow out the belly and chest, hang the head down, chin towards the sternum, and you're going to lift and hover your knees. And then as you inhale, you descend the knees and you sway back. As you exhale, you hollow out the front side of the body, and you're going to lift and hover the knees off the floor. And this is our new sequence. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat, firing it up a little bit more. Do two more. And then set the knees down, untuck the toes. We're going to back away and come to a comfortable seat again. This time, the hands are going to rest alongside the hips. Our in-breath is going to take the left arm skyward. And as we exhale, we're going to swerve over to the right. Opening up the side body, breathing into the left lung. So what's also interesting is interviews that he had after the song was released, showing him as the songwriter. He started saying in interviews, it really should also be attributed to Yoko Ono, because she was truly the inspiration behind Imagine. She evidently had published, I believe, some poetry in '67, and one was about Imagine. It was different lyrics, but it was the same kind of concept. Inhale, rise up to the top. Exhale, release. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, curve over to the left. So in 2018, what was that, just 3 years ago, they finally gave her credit. It took, what, 47 years for her to get a little credit for being a part of that process. They also said part of their inspiration was a book that they had both read that was talking about the power of positive prayer. The power of positive prayer, the power of positive thinking is very similar. Inhale, come all the way up to the top. Exhale, bring the hands together. So I want to remind you, there's a sutra in the yogic philosophy that says when you have a negative thought, think the exact opposite. Okay, it's important. So I was just talking to Mandy when she was walking out the door. She goes, I've decided that instead of fasting for the new year, like with certain kinds of food, I'm going to fast mentally. And I'm going to notice my damaging thoughts. And I'm going to throw them away. Great idea, right?
Yes.
Fasting from your negative thoughts. Shift forward again to tabletop position. Try to give us a break from the wrist. So zip up through your midriff. So your back is really firm and sturdy. And then we're going to take the right leg straight back behind us. Instead of allowing the back to sway, you're pushing back through the right heel. And as you exhale, you're going to cross it under towards the left arm. No intention to touch, okay? Inhale, take your right leg straight back like an extension of your tailbone. Exhale, this time you're going to crunch in and curl the forehead towards the knee. Inhale, lengthen the neck, lengthen your right leg back. Exhale, bring the right knee to the right arm. Doesn't have to touch. Inhale, right leg shoots back. Good. Exhale, lower the knee. We're going to take that to the left. Inhale, the left leg shoots back. Flex through that ankle like you're trying to reach the back wall. And as you exhale, crisscross it under the belly towards the right arm. Just that direction. Inhale, splay it back. Exhale, we're coming right through center, nose towards knee. Good. Inhale, splay it back. Exhale, left knee towards the left arm on the outside of the body. You got it. Inhale, take it back. Exhale, settle the knee back down to the floor. And we're going to come back to sit to relieve the wrist a moment. Hands to prayer position. As you inhale, let the arms sweep up. Good. As you exhale, spin to the right, just like we did earlier. However, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're starting in the twist. Close the eyes. Imagine a pulse of love and light radiating outward from your heart. Affirming, I radiate my love, goodwill, compassion to soul friends everywhere. As you exhale, try to keep your left hand on the right knee. Just unwind from the twist. All right, lifting the right arm up, and then exhale, leaning to your left. If it's too much to maintain that hold of the knee, you can slide it down to your shin. Inhale, build up. Exhale, hands return to Anjali Mudra. Inhale, let your arms lift. Exhale, spin to your left. Maintaining the twist, but closing the eyes. Sensing that light radiating and pulsing from the heart. Moving outward into the world. Reciting mentally to yourself, I radiate my love, goodwill, and compassion to soul friends everywhere. Keep your right hand on the knee, but release the twist. Carry the left arm up, leaning to the right. And again, if that's too much for the handhold, you can slide it down to your shin. Again, sometimes our arms are just different lengths compared to the rest of the body. Gently go up and lower the hand down. All right, we're moving right back into a tabletop position. Zip up through your midriff so your belly feels firm. And try not to allow it to dip as your right leg extends back. All right, this time we're coming straight through the center. Exhale, scrunch in, nose towards knee. Inhale, right leg back, head lifts. Exhale again, coming right through the middle. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hollow out the belly. Now keep that belly hollowed out, lift the head up, and see if you can swing that right foot to the outside of your right hand. You may have to give it some assistance. And then go ahead and lunge into that right knee. Good. Look at your foot to see where it's placed. If it's turned out, see if it's possible to turn the toes to face the front of your mat. And it's okay to come to a fist if the wrists are feeling a little sensitive today. You're sinking through the hips. You're trying to keep the right knee kind of tucked in towards the arm. And then this is where I would suggest bringing in blocks to perhaps sink down to forearms. Turn the blocks different heights to meet you where you're at. It's okay to bow the head. It's okay to close the eyes. You are pushing down through the arms so that you're engaging the back of the arms, the triceps. You're also still drawing the navel in, and you're creating some fullness in between your shoulder blades and your back body. Let's go ahead and come away from the blocks, but we're going to turn them up to their highest point. We're going to heel toe the right foot away from the edge of the mat. We're going to back the hips up, and then we're going to drop back into the half lunge. If you need extra padding for your back knee, some of you have already applied a blanket under, totally fine. The next time you take the lunge, curl the back toes under, kick the knee off the floor. Squeeze the right hip in. Hold for an additional breath. And then exhale, set the knee gently to the floor, untuck the back toes. The blocks can go to the sides. Your hands are going to push into the floor to back the hips up and to slide the right knee back. All right, now we're coming back down to the palms of the hands. We're going to do that sequence to the other side. So the belly's tugging in, the upper back is nice and feels fairly flat. All right, inhale, stretch your left leg straight back, toes turn down. Good, exhale, scoop into the belly, nose towards the knee. Inhale, create extension. Exhale, contracting, curl under. We're doing one more. Now keep that belly drawn in. Lift the head and swing that left foot to the outside of the left hand, close to the edge of the mat. You can shift your hips forward and you can come to fist. We're starting off here as a little warm up and then we'll drop a little lower. Taking your time with it. Now if you want to bring the blocks, remember they can turn different heights. You want to meet yourself where you're at. Where is that physically for your body? The breath can help to show you the way. If your breath struggles, you're probably struggling physically. You want your breath to be long, strong, or smooth and rhythmic. Close the eyes and go within. Gently begin to back away. Begin to back away, you can lose the blocks. Or actually bring the blocks back in. So we're going to heel toe the foot over. We'll frame it with the blocks. And then we'll back away from the hips, because I know you need to right now, because I did too. And then lunge back into the knee. And do that one more round before we lift into the higher lunge. Now we'll curl the toes under once you have that front knee lunging and lift that back knee off the floor. So you're in this higher variation. And your left hip is going to slide towards the back of your mat and slightly tuck into your waist area. When you're ready, springboard the back foot forward. Bring the blocks ahead of the feet. So now the blocks are underneath the shoulders. The ankles are lodged up underneath the hips. You have an extended spine. And then if you want to release into a deeper fold, you can take the hands away from the blocks and you can drape lower in towards your thighs. So let your head get heavy, maybe nod your head. So evidently, back in September, Yoko Ono had a project, actually several places around the world, different parliaments and government buildings that were projecting the lyrics of Imagine onto them. And whether or not you resonate with the lyrics or not, maybe you resonate with that concept of just imagine a better world, imagine and envision a better future for yourself, your children, your grandchildren. Your next inhalation, let's take the arms to the sides and up overhead. And then really root down through your feet. Feel that grounding line of energy and really reach up through your waist and fingertips for the opposing line of energy. Take one more deep breath. Then as you exhale, you're going to bring your left arm and you're going to thread it behind your back. And you can go ahead and lower your right arm down. But I want you to see if you can wiggle or swim that left hand more up the back. Again, your right arm is just free. Stay lifted through the sternum, the crown of your head. Take some deep breaths in and out through the nose. Affirming as you do so, free in my heart, I choose to live without any fear. Next in breath, release the left arm, sweep both arms up again. And then again, rooting the feet down into the floor so you have muscular engagement from the feet all the way up. And this time we're going to take the right arm and wrap it behind the back. And then lower the left arm down. And this may be plenty, this may be enough. But see if it's possible to wiggle or to swim the right hand up the back. Maintain some good posture. Maintain command over your breath. Affirming here, free in my heart. I choose to live without any fear. Exhale, just let that left hand slide on down. Good, hands to prayer position at your heart. Inhale, let the arms swim up. And let your exhale take you down into your Uttanasana, your standing forward fold. From here, we're going to step back to downward facing dog. So plant your palms, step it back to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Bringing your hips up high. And then exhale, just sitting down to your knees. All right, we're going to take the legs back. We're going to roll to the tops of the legs, top of the pelvis, and we're going to bring the forearms down in front of us. Lift and lengthen through your thigh bones, shin bones, and feet. Press the feet into the floor, tighten through your glutes, push through your elbows, float up through the chest. Find a good position for your neck, wherever that may be, and then cast your gaze at one object in front of you, or one point in front of you. Bring in a little strength. We're going to lace the fingers together. Make sure the elbows are not sliding any further away. And then we're going to curl the toes under. We're going to lift the hips off the floor. And we're going to secure this pose by hugging the quads into the thigh bone. Navel drawing in towards the spine. Upper back feeling in. This is a much easier forearm plank than Sphinx arms because we're bringing the hands to link together. Uniting the left and the right, the masculine and the feminine, the solar and the lunar. All right, bring your knees forward. Curl your toes under and take dolphin, which is very similar to downward facing dog. The difference is we're on the forearms. Again, it's much more manageable with your hands linked together. The head hovers above the floor. The hair can touch, but not your scalp. Let's take 3 breaths. And then examine your mind and thoughts. Examine your heart and feelings. If you're having a negative thought, think the opposite. When you're ready, come down to the knees. Circle the arms around you into child's pose. Let your shoulders relax. Your weight spill down. Rediscover your breath and create a state of oneness with your breath. We're going to take a twist, but we're going to do it from tabletop position. So extend your arms forward, rock up the hands. We're going to go to thread the needle. So if your feet are together, separate it. Flip your left palm, loop it underneath the right arm, settle down towards your left ear. And breathe. And pushing lightly into your right hand. Breathing into that space behind your heart. Inhale, unthread the left arm. Flipping your right palm, loop it underneath your left. Try not to leave your hips to one side or the other. Here. Opening myself up. New life with the energy within. Breathe out of that position, and you're coming back down into a seat. Your hands are resting alongside your hips like we did earlier, except you're going to start rotating your wrists, circling them in one direction, slowly lifting them sky. And then you're going to circle the hands the other way. Then we're going to hook the left arm under the right for Gavridasana arm. Once they loop together, feel free to close the eyes. Releasing them and hooking them the opposite way. The right arm's going to cross under the left. Some space between the upper arms and the chest. Breath. Rest your hands on the arms are like the extensions or wings of the heart. Pause here, feel the buoyancy in your chest. Gazing it up to your mind's eye. Imagine a more peaceful place, a more peaceful land. Imagine your participation in it. look like, what it would feel like. Holding the faith that it is possible. Part of the secret is to also trust and surrender, to let it go. Saying goes, sometimes God's plan is better than we can even imagine. Gently down to our back, but I want you to have a block. So bring the block with you. And once you lower down, we're gonna have our final inversion of pressing through the feet, tucking and lifting the tailbone off the floor to slide the block below. And once you find that larger bone set down on top of the block, you can more or less take rest here. Your palms can be spun open. Keep your right foot on the floor. Inhale, take your left leg side. Hold it upright for 3 breaths. And on that third breath, when you release it, stack your left ankle on top of your right knee. We'll start to go a little heavier on the left side of the sacrum because of that knee opening out to the side. Let it be. Now set your left foot to the floor. Reset deer bridge. Inhale, let's fly the right leg up. Hold and breathe. And set your right ankle over your left thigh bone. Let the knee open to the side. You're going to go a little heavier on the right side of the sacrum now. Just let it be. Set your right foot back down. Reset here. I want you to consider this affirmation that stems from Ananda Yoga for this pose. I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. So in our Shavasana today, I want you to continue this self-examination work. It may have been challenging to do that with your heart and mind during physical activity. You may find it much easier to notice when you're in stillness. So let's press through the soles of the feet so I can lift away from the block. Roll back down. And just angle your feet a little bit wider apart and just swish the knees from one side to the other. Going at a somewhat slow pace. And after at least 3 times, twisting to one side and then the other, if you prefer a bolster coming in for Shavasana underneath your knees, you can slide it below. If you would like Stonehenge or a slide for the legs, you have the props available to create that. Feel free to cover with a blanket. Feel free to cover your eyes with a towel. Oh, you're not here. I'll help you there. It got twisted up. There we go. So I'm not going to play the song again, but I am going to read the lyrics to you. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only the sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all of the world. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us. The world will live as one. I want you to now use the remainder of your time here to examine your own mind and thoughts, your own heart and feelings. Once you've been doing some self-examination, more relaxed state, I want you to envision what utopia would be like. It's more social justice and equality. There's less greed, less hunger, less poverty. Hope, more peace, more loving intentions. No fear-mongering. Encouragement. Less competition, more helping hands. Passion and understanding. Then I hear that swaha coming up from the music. Swaha is like offer it up. Now that you've created the vision, offer it up. Swaha. Deepen the flow of your breath. Maybe hug the knees in. Wrapping your arms around with metta, loving kindness towards yourself. Mayatri, radical acceptance of who you are and the path that you're on. Intentions you've set. Roll to one side of your body. Re-invite yourself to a comfortable seat, however that translates to you in the now. Joining your palms together. The light within me honors and respectfully bows to the beautiful light in each of you. May we walk away from this practice, understanding the importance of self-examination, reviewing our thoughts, reviewing our feelings, knowing how we are participating with the collective. And remember the power of positive prayer and the power of positive thinking. Yeah.